If you like what you hear, please take time to review us on Apple Podcasts and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Also, if you'd like to be on the podcast, let us know, or if you have someone you would like us to feature, let us know that as well. So welcome to Real Time Real Estate. This is episode 9. I'm Sandra King.
Casey Lyons.
And today we have the beautiful Sara Linsacum with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming. We're excited. We normally talk about, like, what'd you do for the weekend? So, what'd you do for the weekend?
Ooh, I know exactly what you did.
Look at like tears are coming. Every weekend for probably the last a long time right now. We're working on the house.
Okay.
So I got running water yesterday. That was huge.
Yay.
If you check out my Instagram, it's real huge. Our faucet lights up. I've never seen one of these before. Have you ever seen
So
guys like
exciting.
these?
No.
And just so you guys know, Sarah's doing a full remodel on a house, and right
Yeah.
now she's working on the kitchen. So she didn't
the
buy
kitchen.
a house without water. She's just
Very true. Very true. It had water until we jerked it all out. So my faucet, I don't even know what brand it is. It just looked really pretty, and then I bought it, and then it lights up. So the kids think it's like the coolest thing ever.
Oh,
so when
yeah.
you turn it on, when the water is cold, the light is blue. I think, no, it's green or something like that. And then when it gets like warmer, it turns green, blue to green. And then when it's hot, the light turns red.
That is so
In the faucet.
neat.
so cool.
So we have
Wow.
running water around a temporary, like my cabinets in, around a makeshift like wood to hold the new sink in there. So I have no cabinets. I have a sink and a range. And that's it. But the cabinets, I have 2 cabinets on the top. We did get those done at like 2 a.m. So we've ripped out, the weekend we spent, like we completely gutted. We took a whole wall down. We put a beam in. We half-walled. So the kitchen is, it is what it is right now.
But you have running water. That was a major
I
accomplishment.
have running
for the
water
weekend.
and dishes aren't done in the bathtub.
That would be
Great.
ideal.
Great accomplishment. And I'm
Very
like
much
all
so.
about good mindset. And so like the whole time, like I'm wanting to really gripe about my life without a, running sink. And I'm like, there's people in Africa with it that don't
Right.
have running water. And
Right.
and Sarah, your ancestors lived like I'm like telling myself this.
Yeah.
Come on, Sarah, you're better mindset
Talking
than
yourself
this.
off the ledge.
And it was really, really hard. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. But that's
It
okay.
is hard to remind us ourselves sometimes that we don't have it so rough.
So that's what I did
Exactly.
over the weekend.
That's
and I
awesome.
ended fall sports. So I'm an athletic director and assistant principal. It's the end of fall sports. That was a big one.
Very
And
cool.
it was,
Do you sleep?
nope,
Okay, I didn't
ever.
think so.
Nope. I slept really good last night, not going to lie. Travis is on night shift. I slept really good. And we had a birthday party for Maddie. I hope someday is my sister-in-law. And Jaden had a volleyball game. We just kind of crunched it all into one
Oh
weekend.
my gosh, you had a busy weekend.
It's all good.
It's normal weekend for you then, I suppose, except for the running water. You're always busy.
Yeah.
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 Very cool. What'd you do for the weekend?
I moved a lot of cows and showed properties. It was kind of a get up and go weekend as well. Horseback to show properties to horseback, and my kids really had to suck it up. It was going to turn into a nice, flat, little easy ride, and then 6 hours later, we're going up a hill, down, hold on.
That was in the
Yeah.
canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And they did
they
really
did.
good.
They did awesome.
Kids are resilient.
They are, because they don't know to be
No,
scared.
do you think my kids complained about running water? No. They thought it was great. We had a picnic outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like they were like,
yeah.
we get to have another picnic? Yeah. Like they think it's great.
Oh, that's cool.
Like
Very cool.
What'd you do, Sandra?
Well, I showed property on Saturday. Thanks for meeting me out at that ranch.
No problem.
And then Sunday, I don't remember what I did. Oh, Sunday. What did we do Sunday? I can't remember. My memory is going. What did we do Sunday? I know my folks came over Sunday night. I fixed dinner and just grilled some hamburgers on the Traeger and
Got ready for the snowstorm.
got ready for whatever. Yeah. So I'm still wearing like my little shoes with no socks, and I will
Yeah,
right
gotta
up
hold
until
strong.
it's like 3 feet. Yeah. So, but it was a good weekend. I mean, still relaxing, ready to come in Monday and kick butt and do our real estate stuff. So,
Yep.
so we'll jump right in. I know Parker loves it when we say that. We always throw Parker under the bus. It's fun. But we'll jump right in about why you're here, and you're here to talk to us about your personal experiences, as you talked a little bit just a minute ago about flips or flops, and your rehab. Because I think it's important for people to know everybody has a vision, and they go in and see a house, whether it's just decorating it or like you've done, a gut job remodel,
And just the hidden little things that you were like, oh, this was cheaper than I thought, or oh wow,
holy cow,
it's easier to do it this way than that way. Because I really think when you're doing a remodel, you got to touch all bases.
For sure. So where do I start? So
we'll start with your first one.
Okay. Well, so when Travis and I got married, oh my gosh, 11 years ago, we bought a little house on Taylor Street, and I just adore Taylor Street.
It's
Like for me,
awesome
so that
street.
says something kind of about what I like. I like cute, I like character. Like that's just a selling aspect. So we bought this cute little house next to Bud and Amy Bauer, little greenhouse. It was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. So it was our first house. And they had gutted that entire house. So we moved into a house that was completely done. The yard was atrocious. But besides that, like we moved into a house that was meticulous, modern, gorgeous. So that being my first house, like kind of sets my bar a little high. I'm not going to lie about that. So we did a lot of yard work, but outgrew it. So Travis has a daughter. And so Jaden was she was kindergarten then, and she's 14 now. So it worked for us.
Right.
My vision was to redo the upstairs. I had a big attic, and I wanted to do a dormer off the side. Travis just was like, absolutely not. Like, we need a bigger house.
Right.
So we did have Tinsley in that house. And so we had both girls in a bedroom, still worked, 1 bathroom, but our bathroom was huge, still worked. Well, then I got pregnant with Briggs. And so then at that time, Tinsley's like 5. And now we're like, okay.
Yeah, now it's a little crunchy.
Yeah.
And all along this time, we're looking for other houses, but really couldn't quite find anything that was us. So we listed our house, it sold, but a learning lesson for us is we bought that house right before the market dropped. And so we didn't get like anything out of that house. So I'm like, okay, well, we're going to have to move into a rental, kind of save up and move forward. So that's what we did. We have lived in 2 rentals since then. And then I knew like it was time to find something. So kind of this spring, I told Casey, like let's get looking. And we looked at a lot of houses.
And we took our time, and that's huge.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah. And I think my big thing was I had 2 visions. I either need to find something in that 250 to 300 range that was done. Perfect. I'm not going to be spending my weekends in time, or I'm going to find something that's under 200 and I'm going to put a lot of work into it.
Right. Because you guys did look at a wide range.
Right.
Casey'd say, okay, today we're looking at these houses. And then 2 days later, we're going to look at this. And I'm like, wow, that's like one end to the other.
Yeah.
Just trying to cover everything.
Right. And so that's kind of where I was. I was like, it was one or the other. And so we definitely looked around, and I felt like we were looking at houses that my visioning, I'll say it, I'm like meticulous. Like I want new, I want open. I want some those historical, charming things. I want a nice yard for my kids.
Right.
So like those are all on my list, and we weren't finding things that worked for me and what I like. I say me. Travis just goes along with it, I think.
I think all husbands do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So eventually, kind of along the lines, we knew that open floor plan was going to be huge for us. We saw this little one on Taylor Street. Like it went up that night. We went first thing the next morning.
You did, yeah.
And I walked in, and Travis wouldn't even go with me. He was like,
No, like Sarah and I snuck in because he didn't want to go.
no, he said, absolutely not. Like, we're not going. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. He was like, no, we have to have 4 bedrooms. And the hard thing for me on that is, so Tinsley is 8, Briggs will be 3 in a couple weeks, and they've known nothing but sharing a bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
And while Travis is like, no, they don't want to share, like, they are hell-bent on sharing a bedroom. Tinsley
cute.
loves that relationship with her brother.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we're definitely hitting that kind of line of like Tinsley needing her own space. But then we have Jaden that's with us kind of every other weekend and more in
Right.
the summers. And so having a 14-year-old have their own space is also important.
Sure,
So I'm just like, we'll put the girls in a bedroom. Briggs have his own bedroom. Tinsley was like, no, I'm sharing a bedroom with my brother. So we go into this house and it was super cute. And it had the features of I can open this wall up, or like it had original hardwood floors. I can refinish that. Like to me, so I saw so much potential.
Like we started designing it as we walked
Yeah,
in.
I was just like, this is, and it was boxy, but I wanted to actually downsize. I feel like we lived in a rental with a big family room in the basement,
Right.
and we didn't use it. Like,
Right.
and I'll tell you this: our lifestyle is we like to travel.
Right.
And this house was like what 197, like under 200. And then a huge selling feature in the basement, the master bedroom is huge.
Right. It is.
With a fireplace.
Yeah.
And then it has this laundry room that is also huge. And I was
Right.
like, this is your fourth bedroom.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it was a no-brainer for me.
Okay.
Like this is a fourth bedroom. The garage will only fit a Mini Cooper. And so
Not a Suburban, which is what you
right.
drive.
And so I saw that as this could be storage. I could move a laundry
sure.
room out there if I wanted,
Right.
or I can actually put another wall in and still have a laundry room plus Jaden, kind of a cool teenage
Teen
look
room.
apartment, more
Yeah.
modern downstairs. So that's the vision for that. But then I walked in the backyard and it's
that backyard is.
it's a double lot.
Yeah.
Like how lucky do you get to have a
Yeah.
double lot? Travis was like, do you know how much yard work this is? And there was like, I don't know.
Did you get him a riding lawnmower yet?
No, you can't. You can't have a riding lawnmower. And the reason is
Because
that
of
there's
the
so many
levels. Yeah.
levels. And there was 900 pounds of ruck, and that's a whole nother topic. But so I saw this beauty, and it reminds yourself like that you're out in the country. There's all these trees, and it's quaint, and it's like blocked off, and it's
Kid
Taylor's-
Tinsley
Yeah.
got her little playhouse.
Tinsley got a playhouse out of the deal.
Oh,
Like
very cool.
it has so much potential. And I told Travis, this was the only thing I think that sold him was I was like, we can knock out the fence on this one and you can have a big shop someday. I don't know if it sold him, but that's a long ways away. But
But you let him think it's
but I
like any
let him,
minute.
it could happen.
Right.
So I fell in love with it. Travis still was like, no. And then we were getting ready
We
to
like
go.
dragged him in.
Yeah. Like I'm driving to this other house and I call him on the
I'm
phone
getting rid of the pillow.
and I tell
Can I
him,
just throw that off camera?
I tell Travis, I'm like, Travis, I really want this house. And he was just like, but, and I was just like, I'm telling you, if you can just trust, like, I'm really good at this decorating part. Like,
You are,
I
yeah.
said, just please trust me in this. Like, we can make this work. And I think the selling price was a huge point for him.
Sure.
I was like, we're paying $2,000 a month. We're going to pay $1,000 a month. We're going to have $1,000 every month, not on top of what we're already saving,
Right.
to put back into a house.
Yep.
And so then he was like, okay, we can do it.
Well, and if you hated it, you could always sell it, you know, if it wasn't going
agree.
to work. Yeah, so it's, good deal.
I love it. Like,
Yeah.
and I will say this, like, I feel like I've lived in some nice houses. It's by far my favorite house I've ever lived in.
Oh, that
Even
makes
with
my heart feel so good.
It is. It's us. And what's so cool is I'm getting to make it exactly how I want it. Like my floor color is exactly.
Oh, I love what you did with your floors.
Yeah, we did a very ashy brown, like, and so I got to buy my dream Pottery Barn table to match it. Like, I get to
perfect.
buy like these nice. We sold everything. That's a high recommendation for me. If you're gonna downsize, just sell your furniture. Like, sell everything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell my mother-in-law that right now. Like, just
Yes.
sell it and buy pieces that fit
Exactly.
in your new house.
Well, and fit your lifestyle at that point. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of times what we get 10, 15 years ago, you know, and especially in your mother-in-law's group with me, is kids were younger, things like that. And now it's just empty nest. We can kind of do our own changes and pick what we want.
Get that little love
You know,
seat.
yeah. Or the nice, you know, leather furniture or the couch that you'd think, well, you'd only use that for, you know, Christmas. Now you could kind of do whatever because it's not boys jumping all over everything.
Yeah, like my couch is going to be the first thing I replace once the remodel is done. And once Briggs is like, won't eat popsicles on the white couch, like
Exactly.
and it's a nice couch, but I'm like, it makes do. I can vacuum it, I can wash it, slip covers, and done. But that is a huge recommendation of mine. Is like, unless you absolutely like our bedroom set, like that was keep that.
Sure.
We have a beautiful bedroom set, but everything else we got rid of, we downsized, we let it go, and we've been able to buy beautiful quality pieces
Right.
that fit our house, and that has been huge for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so exciting.
Sure.
So, sure. And then when you have a free minute, you're doing your fitness.
Yeah. So, yeah, our life is busy, and people ask me like, "Yeah, do you sleep?" Like, I do. So we own a gym. We've owned the gym. Oh my gosh, I think we'll be going on 3 years this summer.
And where's the gym located?
So the gym is on Russell Street, across from JNR Cyclery, next to Shepherd and Sons and Hatton's.
Across from Speakeasy Tattoo.
Yeah,
Foster. Yeah.
absolutely. So and you kind of wouldn't know, big green sign out front. You walk in, we have this little beautiful lobby kind of area people hang out in, and then our gym in the back. And so we actually didn't move in there until last April. We started out small. When we had this vision for this, I think it was kind of two parts. Fitness is a big part of our lives. Travis is college wrestler, me as track. Like I really was on that runner, still doing like steamboat running series, all that kind of thing. When I really found the functional fitness and kind of CrossFit industry, Travis was just like a weightlifter, and I kind of bought him into like, you should try Metcon, they're kind of fun. And then
I love how you just randomly throw
Yeah.
we
stuff to
should
your
try
head. Hey,
this. It's
by the way, you're signed up.
Yeah. So we kind of just started doing things on our own, and we actually started, it was Matt, Travis, and I in Travis's parents' basement. And we kind of
that's
like would
cool.
collect equipment, and we had some wrestling mats, and it's so funny if you actually walk down in the basement. I need to take a picture. There's like, so in CrossFit, there's like these benchmark workouts, like all these women, Annie and all these, and you have there's a column for Travis and Sarah and whatever. And I look at those and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was terrible. But at that time, like I was like striving. So long and short of it is that was pretty cool. So we started there. We ended up, Travis made some pretty big life changes, and really like, I think through some soul seeking, like he works out at the mine, and that provides a great income for our family. But he didn't have anything he was passionate about, like I am at Craig Middle School. Like,
Like your hobby.
yeah, and I go to work every day, crazy or not, like people are like middle school kids, 500 of them all day. I love my kids. And I love my staff. Like that is my other family.
Oh, that's great.
And I like have no desire to do anything else but be at Craig Middle School for the next 30 years. Like
That's good to hear.
I love that age and the thing that we have created there. Like we have an amazing culture and climate.
Right.
Travis didn't have that in his life. And I think when you don't have that in your life and you're not constantly surrounded by people that push you mentally, and you have things you're trying to work for, it's really easy in life to get stuck.
Right.
And that's where he was in his life, is he didn't have those. And I almost think it was a time in his life that he was like envious, like Sarah's doing this, and I'm
What am I
not.
doing?
Right.
Yeah.
And it was kind of this resentful thing. And I was like, you have to find something. And so he was like, I'm going to get CrossFit level 1 certified. So we took him to Park City, Utah with Chris Spieler. It was just a cool thing for him. And he came back. I will never forget that drive home. He couldn't stop talking. He was just like, I'm going to do this. Like, how do we do this? How do I get started? So we started at Trapper Fitness and a racquetball court. And all of a sudden we had like, I remember his first week, he's like, I've got like 1 person and 2 people. It was like overnight, there was 24 people crammed in a rack. I'm like, this isn't going to work for long.
Wow, yeah.
So we rented the place on Russell Street last April. And it kind of actually was a comfort zone push. Like this isn't going to work out at Trapper. You got to go there. It was the best thing we could have ever done. We run a 5 a.m. class every Monday through Thursday and a 5 p.m.
That is a real time, 5 a.m. Okay.
5 a.m. Yep. 5 a.m., 5 p.m. We love it. We have the best community of people. We have about 50 to 60 people in the gym. And it's like a family. Like when I show up at 5 p.m. to my peeps, I have stuff to do. Like I have a house to remodel and kids to read with and schoolwork, but it's my 1 hour a day that I give myself.
Right.
And like that's a huge recommendation for me for anybody is everybody, no matter if you're a new mom or where you are in your life, everybody deserves to give themselves 1 hour.
Right.
1 hour in their lives. And that's my 1 hour a day that I get to show up and lift weights and not think about my to-do list. Like, cause I'm in so much pain and hurt and in my mental zone there that I forget about everything else, which is super exciting. And if I'm working out or coaching a class, like that's it. So I give that to myself. And then Travis has found his passion. If you've ever went to a class with Travis, he's good. He's dang good at coaching people.
A lot of people have told me that, you know, just in general, because I did CrossFit for a little over a year with a gal that used to do CrossFit a lot. And we'd heard that he's very meticulous about your form and how to do things correctly instead of some of the other teachers or coaches are just like, okay, yep, keep doing those, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, wait a minute. You need to do this way
He's
or
meticulous.
whatever.
He has a great vision. We follow all CrossFit New England stuff. Ben Bergeron. Ben does an awesome podcast called Chasing Excellence. We got to go to Boston this summer and spend 2 days in his gym. And it's by far
saw that,
the happiest place on earth. Like Disneyland, nope. CrossFit New England, yes, that place is awesome. Like the people there are amazing.
Very cool.
And they're producing the top-notch CrossFit athletes in the world, down to the 85-year-old guy, down to the new mother, like just super cool. Their philosophy is humble, hungry, happy people that move well when they're 90. And that's our philosophy. None of us at Lynn's Fit are probably gonna be games athletes. Maybe me when I'm 60. That's my goal.
That's your goal.
But we are there to support each other, to be around like-minded people that push ourselves. I get like Nick Craig, I'll just throw his name out there. I had a great,
He's my
oh my
cousin.
gosh, I love Nick. So Nick was a more of like a power lifter, he's a big, strong guy.
Yeah.
And he was just like, my goal is going to be to run under a 10-minute mile. And you would think, like, he looks so fit. Like, that is hard for him to run under a 10-minute mile. Travis and I are pretty quick runners. And so the other day I was like, Nick, you know, I've been thinking a lot about you and your goals. And, like, you know, what is your goal? So we talk a lot about personal goals there. And he's just like, I want to be able to keep up with Travis in workouts. I was like, cool. So you're strong enough too, Nick? He's like, yeah. He's like, but I can't. I was like, you know, you got to go down on weight. And we've got to have a different approach every day. And he was like, thanks for taking the time to think about me.
Nice,
and that is our philosophy. Like, we think of every one of our clients. Travis thought it was so cool. The other day, a gal stopped him and was like, can I just talk to you about life after class? What is your advice on this? I'm really struggling in life. And Travis was like, that's one of the most meaningful conversations I've ever had. Like, she considers me not just as her trainer, but as a person that can help her get through life's hard things. So that's what we're there for.
Yeah.
We're there for like the whole body, the whole mind, and I think we're there to help each other push ourselves out of our comfort zones.
Well, and I think sometimes people don't realize with that type of workout, you don't have to do everything like you see on TV or whatever. There's modified stuff.
Right.
There's, you know, if you can't do the pull-up, there's a modified version for that you can do.
Yeah.
That is easy.
Rarely are two people in a class ever doing the same weights, same movements, same skill progression. Like, rarely. Everybody is on their own journey. And like, we are there to support you where you're at, physical limitations, wherever. We're going to try and push you out of your comfort zone. And so if somebody walks up to me and is like, I just can't do a squat, my knees hurt, and I'm going to tell them, like, we will move well and not make you hurt. But at the same time, I want you to do an air squat. An air squat is a functional movement that I want you doing when you're 90. Like, our goal is to get you there. But we don't have to be doing front squats at 150 pounds to get you there. We will get you there. And I've just seen a lot of people physically better, mentally a lot better.
And when you're physically and mentally, I think it ties you back into your everyday life easier.
I agree with that, Case. I mean, like, I think my sister is a living example. My sister is super hard-headed. I will never tell her ever to do anything in life. Like, that would be like pounding my head against that wall. Like, she was twice the athlete that I was in school. She is strong. She has a I will not lose at anything attitude. And I knew that scene would be huge for her when she decided that was something she wanted to incorporate in her life. Right. And she did. She was like, oh my gosh, I drank the Kool-Aid. This is crazy. And what I love about her is she said, I'm not worried about what the scale says, or I'm not worried when I put on clothes anymore, because I know I'm giving it 110%. Right. And whatever it says, I can't do any more than I'm doing right now.
Right.
And like, to me, that is huge. Like, being confident in your skin. I'll tell you, like, people ask me, this is the heaviest I've ever been in my life, the smallest clothes size I've ever wore, the best I've ever felt. And I was a runner that ran 100-mile weeks. I am just all around a stronger, more mentally capable person. And I wish I would have worked out this hard when I was in college and when I was a high school athlete. I'd have been amazing.
Wow.
But now I'll just do it at 35.
Right, there you go. There you go. Good way to look at it. So where did you go to college?
So I went to school at Shattern State. It was a Division II school.
That would be in Nebraska, Casey.
Are you a Huskers fan too?
But anyways, yes. So I said I would never go to school in Nebraska. Funny story. So grew up in Bags, like whole family, like we've been there forever. And so my parents wouldn't let me go to the University of Wyoming because there was a boyfriend at that time that was too close. I was devastated, like
end of the world.
End of the world. Yeah, that lasted a whole 2 weeks into college. But anyways, so we went on this crazy like 3,000-mile trip, like, and we just college to college to college to college. Shattern, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to Nebraska in the middle of a cornfield. Like, my vision of Nebraska was Kearney, Nebraska, interstate, right? No way. And so I went to Shattern, and it's honestly one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. I would have probably stayed in the Black Hills if it wouldn't have been for Travis. It's just a gorgeous place. And for me, going from Bags to Shattern, which is perfect. It was 0 stoplights to 1. Yeah. Like, it was just a nice, easy transition. Yep. Class sizes were small. I had a great experience there. I grew a lot and changed my major about 5 times. And then eventually went back to kind of this education field, got my degree in PE and health. Thought that's what I'd always do. I ended up meeting Travis.
How'd you meet Travis?
Oh,
just a fun fact.
No, if we can
we talk about that on podcast land?
Well, needless to say, we were like bowling, some friend thing. Like, met Travis. Pretty much was like, no, this isn't gonna work. Like, I'm in college, and he kind of hounded me for a long time. Anyways, yeah. We ended up, the rest is history. 11 years later,
we've all had some good times.
Years,
some good times.
Yeah. But yeah, Trav's a good fit for me. But Shattern was great. Like, I highly recommend. Like, I love when my kids go there. Kayla Hall teaches for me now. Kayla Colgate. Her and her husband were Shattern State grads. We brought them right back. All the Smersina kids go there. Maddie Duzick goes there. Like, it is a good school. Got my master's degrees there. Nice. I love it.
Degrees plural, so you have 2 masters?
Correct.
Very good. In what?
So my first one is in reading and curriculum and design, and then my second one is in leadership. So like a curriculum emphasis, and then I never thought I would want to be a principal. I always liked curriculum technology, thought I'd go down that path. When this door opened up, Brent Curtis was like, I really think you should do assistant principal. Right. You can learn a lot about how to facilitate an environment. So then when you are working at district admin, you understand the intricacies of running a school and why like curriculum and technology mandates just can't come down. Right. Oh, I fully understand now. And now I question, I'm very happy where I'm at. So like when the high school principal job came open, people are like, I was like, no.
So you are an assistant principal, or you are
assistant principal and athletic director.
Oh, okay.
And I love where I'm at in this time in my life. I'm pretty young, to be kind of where I'm at, and I it's just a really good fit for me right now.
Yeah, the athletic director piece would be
Oh, yeah, that's
perfect with your background.
Oh, it's perfect, and it's definitely challenging. It's probably the
Right.
hardest part of my job, but very time consuming.
Right.
So back
And
to
just
it all.
trying to make sure there's money and
Yeah, and I think the demands. So growing up in Bags, I don't remember. Athletics is a big thing there. And everybody really respected the athletic director and coaches, but they were veterans. Coaches don't get paid diddly, and they
Right.
put in a ton of time, and there's always obstacles, and there's always you thinking your kid should play more, and you thinking they're running the wrong offense because that's not what you did in school, and they have 60 girls, and like it's just
A lot.
a lot of fires to put on coaches. I respect coaches more than anything in the world. My brother-in-law is a coach in Hayden and a PE teacher, and he gets up and does CrossFit at 5 a.m. and goes to work all day and coaches all night and gets home at 8 o'clock at night. So immense respect for educators and coaches that will do that for, and they're doing it because they love it. But yeah, so I many different hats that I wear, and yeah. We're
So,
busy.
do you think being in that teaching field, like, because you and Trav, what I appreciated about the remodel, you guys like set and have a plan.
Oh yeah.
Don't you recommend that? Like,
Yeah.
don't try to tackle all of it at once.
No,
Like you did your floors, now you're doing your kitchen.
it's
then
almost
you'll
like
go
education.
here.
That you
Yeah.
do.
Just kind of map out what you're going to do on your remodel.
Yeah, I think you have to have like so I always think like functionable. So I knew right when we moved in, we needed to get the floors done and everything painted. Like I'm not moving furniture in, like
Until we paint.
so we did our hardwood floors. That was an experience.
Why?
It's just a mess.
The,
It's not that it's not doable.
did you rent the big power sander
Yeah,
guy?
we rented them all. There was
Yeah.
like 6 of us to like 2. We had those puppies whipped out in like 2 days.
Well, I know you kept sending pictures, and they look gorgeous from
They
the
were
pictures.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I love them. And so I knew if I could get the bedrooms painted, that's all that really needed done. I wanted to leave the original trim because it was beautiful. Travis recocked around the edges. It looked really nice. So we can leave them there now. And it's amazing, what a coat of paint does.
Oh yeah,
And so we painted every room in that entire house
before you
Before.
moved in.
and the hardwood floors before we moved in.
Wow.
Yeah, that was huge for us. And we had that done though in a week. And then we moved in, and then from there, I knew the kitchen was going to be the biggest piece.
Right.
So really upstairs, our bathroom, we did a new vanity in our bathroom because it was teeny, and that just kind of gets us by in our bathroom. I do
Right.
kind of have some visioning for our bathroom, but it's livable.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to make things livable.
Right.
Is my goal right now.
So did you change the footprint of the kitchen then, or is it the same?
So
size?
no, not really. We just knocked down the wall between the living room and the dining room.
Oh wow.
But it was that old plaster wall
Yeah.
with the old chicken wire in it. So
Yes.
that's fun.
Little messy
Why they
and
thought
dusty.
that was so, I don't know.
back in the day. Yeah. Yeah.
Boxes of but that's okay.
Yeah.
We did that. And then along the way, I will say the only thing we did with the yard is it was super overgrown. Like people hadn't maintained the
Oh, sure.
bushes. And I knew if I was going to try and fight that battle next June, it wouldn't be fun. So I did kind of in the meantime of designing the kitchen, like I took time designing that kitchen and figuring out what I wanted.
And price checking.
And a lot of price checking and quality checking and
So where do
re-looking
you
at
get
it
your
again.
ideas for design? Just in your head, you have this picture of.
Pinterest.
I like Pinterest. I like Instagram. I'm a minimalist. I don't do clutter.
Right.
Like everything is black and white and brown and neutrals.
Gotcha.
I'll accentuate with color every once in a while, but color drives me nuts, and I don't know why.
Huh. Interesting.
Everything is very, very neutral, including my wardrobe, and my kids'
I
room,
feel
and
out of
like I don't know
place.
why. And so that was So I rethought kitchen stuff constantly, and I was okay with that, knowing that I needed to have the kitchen done by Christmas. Like
Right.
that was my goal.
Right.
So I would like, the yard work started to get a little bit like, oh, should we dig? And I was just like, no, we're cleaning out the trees. We're cleaning out the bushes. Like 3,000 pounds later
Oh my gosh.
of hauling stuff off, it looks okay now. And all the rock. Like these people loved rock. There was rock and stepping rock and more rock. And so we got all that stuff out. So then in the spring, it's easier to kind of create a vision and start working on that stuff.
Right.
We're going to redo the complete outside. Like the red brick's going to be white. I'm going to go to black trim around the house. We're going to do some very like neutral woods. Super excited about the outside. Like I feel like that's like something I can do without a ton of Travis help even.
Right. Right.
But the kitchen is a big one for us to get done. And then as soon as the kitchen's done, we're going to do the upstairs bathroom. We haven't touched it. Okay. I'm going to leave the original bathtub because I think it's super cool. Very Travis cool. is like, I'm like, no, it's super cool. Don't even look at it. Don't touch it.
And
off limits.
And what does it look like then?
It's just it's not a cast iron, but it's just the old 1950s tub with like, oh, I love it. The old faucets with like the hot and cold. And so I'll probably like put a new shower head in it.
Right.
I'll eventually subway tile it. Right now it's just white tile, but I did see this thing the other day where it's the old white tiles still, and then they just regrout it black.
Oh yeah.
In between, and it was like,
that would be cool.
And I would do more of a charcoal than a black.
Right.
But it was the square tile, and I was just like, oh, I like
Game
that.
changer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't break the bank.
No, and it doesn't break the bank. And I'm just going to do a very simple vanity in there. We have enough flooring. That was kind of a weird one for me to decide on. I went with the luxury vinyl planking to just snap together.
Yeah. That's a hot item right now.
Yeah, and we're just going to use, I think we have extra from the kitchen and put it in there, and it really matches. I was really nervous about hardwood floor and then doing that.
A lot of
like,
times two floors or more that are similar.
So I was like, is that like this weird thing that you do? And they were like, I researched it, and people were like, no, just offset your grain. So like if my original hardwood floor is running like this, I'm going to do my new vinyl this way.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the ashiness, like it's kind of similar to you guys, more ashy probably. It's very similar tones throughout the two. So I think it'll look really good.
Nice.
So the bathroom I can do. And then the other thing I did to just make it is the tile around the fireplace upstairs. And the tile in the entryway was kind of that old kind of Formican. I painted it black.
Oh.
And it looks a lot cleaner. I just did a chalkboard paint on it, and it makes it look a lot better. But I'm still.
But this is the floor tile?
The floor tile for the entryway.
So then, how do you keep it from getting scuffed?
It doesn't scuff.
No kidding. Wow.
No kidding. And I again did some research on that.
Yeah.
And I knew that I'm going to replace it. But that's an easy February project for me.
Sure, exactly.
Kind of
when it's crappy outside.
I think that's a tip too. Pick your summer project. Pick
Yeah,
your winter
according to
project.
Definitely
weather.
picking around seasons. Like even my bathroom, like to me that's an easy fix to piddle away in those kind of winter months. I'm gonna say my outside, obviously for next year. My kitchen had to be done.
Yeah,
And I think
it's
there's
important.
Sandra and I talk about it too. Like there's a difference between flipping a home, and I call it fluff and buff. Like if you really want to flip a home, you have to come in open-minded. Wouldn't you agree? Like you have to see past wall, colors, floorings. If you just want to do paint, flooring, I consider that more fluff and buff. But to flip a house, you really have to see.
Or to just do a complete gut job remodel, not necessarily flipping, but because we do have a lot of people that want to flip, but they really don't. They just want to, like she says, fluff and buff. But a full-on rehab like what you're doing, because you're going to live in it. Yeah, that's a big deal.
And I think taking your time's huge. I think pick quality, and even if that means like you have to wait 2 extra months to have the money.
That's right.
So like a big one for me was the cabinets. Like, I want nice cabinets that are going to last. I don't have a ton of cabinets.
Yeah.
People have they're like, are you going to have enough cabinets? We're produce people and meat eaters. So like, to me, a bigger refrigerator was more important than a
Cupboard.
yeah. Because
Than
I
a big
don't
pantry or
I
whatever.
I don't need those things. And all my dishes are white and black and clear. and so
I match. I have red ones. I have ones that have cows on them.
You don't want to throw a flower pattern in there or anything like that. No.
no, that would give me anxiety.
We'd like to give a big shout out to E&L Signs for being our sponsor of this podcast. E&L Signs serves Western Colorado and Eastern Utah for all your screen printing and vehicle lettering needs. With over 30 years experience, Ed and Lori will get it done for you. So remember, E&L Signs.
So I have this like little cute space underneath my window that I ordered. I was gonna do more cupboards underneath it with glass windows, but that was pretty expensive to go that route.
Sure.
So I actually found on Crate and Barrel this amazing piece that was it was like all metal, black metal, which I loved, and you could put all your dishes in it. But it was like crazy expensive, like I want to say like $4,000. So I just screenshotted the picture, Googled the exact picture. So if you find something you really like, you can search on Google for like images. So I searched on Google for a like image and then found it at, I think it was, I don't even remember where I found it now. Maybe like All Modern, and found the piece for like $400.
Wow.
insane.
And so how do you do this again? You put it on Google.
So you take a picture of something you like, and then you do a Google search image for that image, and so it'll find like images.
So if someone took my
Gotcha.
photo of me
You'll find like images of Casey.
and that she's cool,
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah.
not a Huskies fan.
Yeah.
Huskers.
Yes.
God.
So anyway, so you can do that with furniture. So
Wow,
that's what I
a
did.
good tip.
And so the only thing I don't like about it is it has mesh. And so your dishes can get dirty like right now. So I have all my dishes actually go in that piece. So aren't even going in my cupboards.
Wow.
They go all
that's
in
really
that piece.
cool.
And I'm double using it. So it's my coffee bar too.
Ooh, neat.
So it's like,
So we get a
like an
tour,
accent.
right? When this gets done,
Yeah.
can we
Sure.
do
Yeah.
a video tour?
We'll
to
bring
show
it
all
up
of
to
our
you,
peeps?
our-
as long as
videographer,
it's
and
not
we'll
a
do
Christmas
it, yeah.
home tour, because I will never do that again. Yes. So we double use it as our coffee bar on
Love it.
top, and then all of our dishes are underneath. And what I thought about it too is like, how great is this piece if I want to use it somewhere else someday and
Right.
find something different? But it takes
Multipurpose.
up that whole space, displays my dishes, kind of like an organized open shelving kind of concept.
Do you find it's difficult to get the stuff you need here since we
Yes.
are limited?
Yes.
So you're making Denver trips or Junction trips? Or...
Yeah, that was kind of it. Like where I got with the cabinets, I thought I knew what I wanted. And I was going to do like a Home Depot stock shaker cabinet. And I told Travis, I was like, I don't feel good about this. And so we drove to Junction. Thank God I did that. It just, for me, and nothing against it, it was just, I wanted more high quality.
Right.
Than that, I wanted definitely a wood cabinet.
Right.
I didn't want a painted look.
Right.
And so we went with, gosh, I can't even remember the brand right now, and that's all I'm doing. We definitely went with a higher quality, and it doubled the price. But they're all wood shaker cabinets. They're all white on the top, and they are black on the bottom, but they're not really a black. They're like a charcoal stain. So they're like a wood with a charcoal stain on them. They're really, really pretty. And then we're doing...
So that's the underside that you see,
So white on the top,
right?
and then charcoal on the bottom for the cabinets.
Oh, for the base cabinets. Okay, I'm with you now.
And then we also, so we got them through Home Depot, delivered right to our house. And then the countertops are going to be white quartz.
Oh, pretty.
And I went with a quartz over a granite because I wanted that more white solid piece than
Right.
and that's it.
And it's going to have a lot of variation.
Yep. And then, so I did all that through Home Depot. They're coming to template the counters Friday, hence why Travis is still like, we're putting in all the cabinets right now still. I'm like trying to rush it through. And they all come in chunks. You don't put them together or anything. Like it's just
that's
like
easy.
screw to the wall,
Oh, wow.
which is nice. And then I did my sink from Amazon. It was delivered 2 days later.
Wow.
I did my hardware from Amazon. That stuff is nice because it just comes.
Straight to you.
Right.
My backsplash. So I'm going through Tile Bar. They'll send you like 5 or 6 different pieces of tile.
Gotcha.
And so I have like all 6 pieces, and I'm waiting to order that until I get it all in, and then I'm going to decide.
Yeah, kind of hold them all.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. I want to wait and kind of hold them all up and see what I like then. Front of our bar, we're doing kind of like a shiplap with, it's also that charcoal black kind of color in the
sounds
front of
neat.
it. And
And you'll have this done
awesome.
before Christmas, it sounds like,
I think it'll be done.
which is your goal. Yeah.
Yeah, before Christmas. I've even like, now I'm kind of like, maybe it'll even be Thanksgiving. Because our
Yeah.
floors, I just have to snap, like that's not going to be too hard
No, that's
at
easy.
all.
And what a great idea about running the grain differently to mix them. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
ever thought of that.
Yeah, I research everything.
That's really good.
I'm not saying it's the right research, but
yeah, but
just
at
really
least
be
you,
comfortable in your
Yeah.
decision.
yeah, there isn't anything right now that I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have done
Right.
this so far. The beam, that was like kind of like a weird thing. Like they were like, we weren't planning on having to do a beam.
What's
They did above. So we half walled that kitchen wall. And so we had to put a beam, like a header
Gotcha.
on the top of it. And it wasn't like, yes, it's a load bearing, but no, it's not a load bearing. So we did it to be safe. And then we just ended up boxing it with wood around it.
Ooh,
Oh, I've seen
that's
that.
pretty.
So so it ended up really pretty. I matched the kind of the boxing to the floor, our floor stain color. So there really hasn't been anything that I'm like, but I feel like if anything, I've taken probably too much time, and Travis has been like, just make a decision.
I would have never guessed that.
I know.
I'm just
And I want
kidding.
things done like
Totally
tomorrow. The only recommendation I would say is cabinets I can do. Knocking a wall down, you can do. Sheetrock, you can do. Mudding, you can do. Electrical, we've just called somebody.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
And I wish we would have done that on plumbing. Travis and Clint Malvitz, thank God, saved Travis's dear life, because that has been kind of an obstacle. And in an older house,
It is
It
challenging,
is.
yes.
it's challenging. There's been a lot of those things that we've had to kind of fix and taken twice as long. That's my other thing. Like, yes, you're like, I went into Sunday going, this is easy. Like, everything's out. Everything's ready. Like, the cabinets are put together. We're just going to start hanging this stuff and put the sink. Travis like, oh, this sink, it's going to be easy. We got the old sink out. We needed to replace the floor underneath. So it turned into, just that sink project turned into a 2-day project.
Right.
So I think you have to be like ready for all of those things.
Right. And know when to call a professional for
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Because I was ready. I was like, just call the plumber.
Right.
I need water. Like,
Right.
this is not going to work.
Yeah.
You're going on night shifts, and I've got 2 kids. Like,
Yeah. And I'm getting annoyed. So.
And I'm
yeah.
getting really annoyed.
Yeah.
And I think we did a good job of one weekend knocking half the kitchen and the wall out, and we still left half a kitchen to get us by till we could work on it again.
Again.
Right. That's a good
So it
tip.
goes back to planning.
Yep. Planning, exactly. Yeah.
And you have to be okay with living in an uncomfortable zone. Because, like, it's not that fun. It's not that fun not to have water or cook your
Right.
breakfast like you want. And so you have to
Right.
kind of makeshift some
Washing
things.
dishes in the bathtub, you said. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the
Not
highlight of
no.
my life.
No.
No.
Dishes and kids together, maybe kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
I like that idea. I like it. I might try it tonight. Kids, no toys in the bathtub. We're washing dishes tonight.
That's right. That's a good idea.
My kids have just
Speed
been
this along.
great. I just can't. Like, oh my gosh. Tinsley's amazing with her little brother, and they just play in the backyard. And
That's awesome.
Well, again,
It's pretty
and you're comfortable. You can open your door. Hey, go play. You have a
yeah,
huge
we have
yard.
a fenced yard,
Yeah.
huge yard.
Yeah.
That's been really cool.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I think you definitely too have to be able to be a person with a good mindset, because you have to think like there is end in sight.
Yeah, because it can
Right.
get stressful.
Yeah,
It could get, and
Like-
the little things that come up.
yeah, and you
Right.
have to be pretty resilient, and you have to be like, I chip away at a stone. Like it's gonna take a long time to build this sculpture,
That's
the way I
right.
want it.
That's right.
So you have to be okay with those things, and it goes back to planning, not just like on the kitchen end, but like a whole lifestyle end.
Right.
So I'm a huge meal prepper. Like I weigh and measure all my food.
I laid
Oh.
pork chops out tonight. You'd be so proud of me.
That's
Usually
awesome.
meal prep.
Good job, Katie.
Like, I'm like get home at 7 and like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I have to have a huge plan. And so like for me, I eat the same breakfast every day of the week and the same lunch every day of the week. So you don't have a kitchen to meal prep all this stuff in.
What do you eat for breakfast?
So I go a week at a time. I always have 2 eggs. Like 2 eggs is my thing for breakfast. I always have a zero, IQOS zero yogurt. If you haven't tried that, it's really good. It's got zero fat in it, but it's just as many carbs as protein. So it's like 14 grams of protein and 14 grams of carbs, but zero fat. So that's huge. Because then I eat my eggs, which has my fat. Like it's 14 grams. See, I gram. Like I know how much all these things is now. That takes time too. So I have that. I usually have oatmeal for breakfast. And then I start a lot of times I'll do like a potato or when I have a kitchen, Kodiak pancakes are my favorite thing to do with 2 eggs. So I do one Kodiak I do like 64 grams of Kodiak pancake with a cup of strawberries, and sometimes 1 tablespoon of Nutella. Or I'll go an opposite and I'll do a tablespoon of peanut butter with 1 banana. Anyways.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I kind of like know that. And then lunch for me is super consistent. Like I'll just have like tuna all week, tuna in a salad or and then meals for dinner, we do HelloFresh.
Oh, okay.
That's like a trick to my life. I love it.
Yeah,
and
'cause
and
they
I
deliver it with the menu and everything.
They deliver it with the menu. I can choose ahead of time. People are like, "Isn't that expensive?" No. If you go out and buy all those fresh produce things, it isn't. Like it's pretty healthy.
And rarely do we plan for that whole week. So you're
Yeah.
at the grocery store every night. Well, then you remember other things you need, and it turns into more than the HelloFresh subscription.
I agree. And I don't waste food. There's not really leftovers. It's like that's a huge like life hack for me is HelloFresh. Not
That's
gonna lie.
great,
We've
yeah.
done it for Briggs is gonna be 3 years straight.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't. And Travis can cook it. That's the other big thing.
That's good. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he doesn't mind cooking when there's a recipe and
That's
all the
right.
stuff's right there. Otherwise we'd be eating sloppy joes and I can't do that.
Yeah. So if you have a late night or something, he can easily fix dinner for the kids.
Yeah.
If he's not
And
working.
Jaden loves to cook it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's
like
good
when
for
she's
her.
around, she's like she loves to cook it. And it's got directions and you eat things you would never eat
Typically
before.
pick up. Yeah.
Right.
Like there's this some like Mongolian bowl or something. It's like rice and hamburger and carrots and like a cucumber and vinegar. It's amazing. I would have never have thought ever to cook something like that.
That does sound good.
So yeah, so I always start like when I meal prep, I always know what my meals are for the week. So I always start with my dinners. I know how many carbs, protein, everything I'm eating there because it's all laid out for me. And then I backwards design it. So then I go, okay, if I'm eating this, then
So you design
what can
everything.
what
I
can I
like it.
have for breakfast? And then what can I eat for lunch? And then I fill in like I'm constantly eating like my snacks and everything. Because Sandra, I tell Casey this all the time. 99% of people's issues is they undereat. Weight loss is people are undereating. I guarantee I eat more in one day than Casey eats in 3.
Yeah, I would just say just what you were telling us. I was like, yeah, because I don't. do
Yeah,
that.
like yesterday I ate lunch.
Yeah.
That was it.
Nope.
Yeah, I had lunch and
Is it?
dinner. Yeah.
It's crazy. When you fuel your body, then your body gets really, really used to that. And then it just turns into overdrive. Like there for a time when I was working with my nutrition coach, like just trying to figure out how many macros. So that's like, so all food's made up of macros, like figuring out the portions that you need to eat. She was like, you need to eat more and more. Like I was waking up at 2 a.m, like starving. Okay, we need to eat more. And so now I have it pretty dialed in. Only time is like when I'm doing 2-a-day workouts. We call that a refeed
because that's a
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, Casey and I do that too.
it's fun.
Yeah.
In the summer when I have time to do things like that, I'll refeed. Honestly, on home remodel, I refeed on those days because you're on your feet doing functional fitness all day long.
Right.
Like when I was holding up that cabinet on my back while Travis was screwing it into the wall, that's functional fitness right there. That's
true.
best.
That's true.
Just saying.
So, and by refeed, you mean you were eating more? Okay.
So I'll refeed carbs.
Wow.
I
need
love
to like teach classes and stuff.
So that's my goal. So I go through a program called WAG. I learned that from a podcast too.
Oh, very good. See, podcasts are great.
They're great. So it's working against gravity. A day Cashew does it. Long story, big tied into CrossFit. But what she believes in, so I don't believe in dieting whatsoever. I was the person with a mindset of like, I'll go run 5 miles before you're going to tell me what to eat.
Right.
Like that's just how I functioned for a long time until I looked at food. Like and it was really Travis and Charlie. Charlie's one of our coaches. She's great nutrition. She does local nutrition coaching. Very similar philosophy of don't, there's no need to restrict food. You need to eat the right quantity of food in the right amounts. And so they were like, Sarah, you're under eating. Yeah, you're eating really clean, but you're under eating. I was like, no way. Like, no way. And so then when I started measuring, I was like, I was definitely overeating fats. I was pretty good on protein. Like I was eating a very protein rich diet. I thrive off of protein. I was way under eating carbs. And when I finally got my carbs back up, I felt like a new person. Like I had all this energy. I was sleeping better. I had more energy to work out. All of a sudden, like my performance in the gym went up. It was huge. And I think the biggest thing through WAG is that they've taught us is that they don't restrict anything. So like if I know I want a piece of cheesecake tonight, perfect. Plan for it.
Gotcha.
Plan for your cheesecake and then work around it. Like if I want to eat ice cream every night, I love ice cream. Right. Like a little Ben & Jerry's, just a couple spoonfuls before bed is awesome. Perfect. But plan for it. Like just know you're going to eat 50 grams of ice cream. Because what happens is when we restrict food, then what do we crave? Those things. And then we overindulge. And then it's just like this bad cycle we get into.
Circle. Yeah.
Like if you're going to have 2 beers, like perfect. Plan for it.
Plan for the beer.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing. So anyways, I definitely, so you do 6 months under WAG. So you have to be, and I love that philosophy. You have to go through their program for 6 months. After the 6 months, then you can become a coach. So that's my next thing kind of this winter is that I will definitely get certified in it. And it's not rocket science. Like,
so I got 6 months to, no, you're not giving me 6 months.
No.
Okay.
But what I love about it is it's not me going, hey, you can't eat dairy. Yeah. Or you can't eat ice cream. Or you need to hide something from me, Sandra. I think people get in that habit of, oh my gosh, I have to hide from my nutrition coach what I want. Right. I'm not going to tell you, you can't have that.
You just have to plan accordingly.
But you need to just plan for it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's life. And that's why people can't maintain healthy life choices is because they don't set reasonable limits for themselves.
Right. That's
like
true.
There's this whole philosophy about change theory that I super believe in. Like if you've never read or listened to the ebook Switch, it's a game changer. Like it explains so much about us in general. It talks about like us being our emotional side and our rational side. Like my rational side, I know I shouldn't be doing these things. But my emotional side gets so exhausted that it takes over my rational side. So they use the analogy of an elephant. So you're trucking along and your elephant, the elephant of you is your emotional side. And your rational side is like your brain. And you know when your elephant gets so exhausted, it can't compete with your rational side.
Right.
And it just makes so much sense. And so it says, like, in order to do change, you have to shape the path. Like, you have to set yourself up to do well. You have to plan ahead. You have to take things in little doses. Like people want to start Lynn's Fit and they'll want to start a nutrition program in the same week. I'm like, nope.
No.
One.
Yeah.
Pick one thing. Like pick
otherwise you
one
end up
thing and be
quitting it all.
successful. Otherwise you just want to, you fail. Like I don't think anybody in this world wants to do bad things. Well, sometimes we just want to be naughty, but
Right.
like you don't like naturally, you're not naturally inclined to not want to follow through with commitments to yourself or
Right.
to others. That's not human nature. But at some point, you just become so exhausted that you kind of give up. And so I think that's why in any aspect in life, like have a good support system, have a coach, have a plan. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. Ask for help.
Right. But I think as women, we just want to do it all
Yep.
and be the savior of everything.
Yep.
No, we don't need help. No, we got this. No, don't, you know.
I read an article about that though too, that we were designed, like, I don't remember, I wish I could find it. Like, we thrive off of our husbands helping us too, and sometimes we've got to step back and just kind of let.
Essentialism.
Yeah.
So another great book, Essentialism. So it talks about how in life we need to really like set down and say what is essential in my life and what, because we can't do it all.
That's right.
So if you look at all the things that I do, those are things that I consider essential. I'll tell you, and it's like scale. So one thing I always do during the school year, and I've had to put my foot down with Travis, is I'm a fill-in coach at Lynn's Fit right now. And I'll tell you, I love coaching. Like, love it.
Right.
I love helping people. I love all of those things. But it's not more important than, number one, my family and my kids
Right.
thriving. Number two, Craig Middle School. Like, that is, well, Travis is up there in that thriving part.
Oh, yeah, we're sure. Yeah, we have.
Yeah, that was
he's up
given.
there
Yeah.
with Tinsley and Briggs and Jaden.
Yeah.
But those things come first, then Craig Middle School. Like
Right.
making that the best school, the best opportunity for those kids. Like
Right.
that is where my passion is. Me having an hour every day to work out
Right.
and keep up my nutrition. When I do that, I do my other two things
Really
very,
well.
very, very well. And I think right under that too is, my relationship, with my sister and my dad and all those things that like get left to the
Right.
side.
I've been really having that mindset too. Don't get so busy making a living, you forget to live.
Right.
Because that's what makes you
Yep.
excel
Right.
at different
It's
things.
those good
Like,
relationships.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
that day of like, you know what, kids, we are going to ditch school today and go move cows.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Like,
agree with you.
I shouldn't tell that to a teacher.
No,
because
I agree.
in like 7th grade, I'm
Right.
going to be like, hey, Sarah, so we're shipping cows.
And I'll
Cody
be
has
like,
a
okay.
cold, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Because those things are important. Family is important. I have that on a little plaque about don't get so busy making a living, you forget to make a life. And it
Yeah.
really is important.
Well, and I think if you can focus on those things, and then when somebody asks you to do something, or you're like, oh, I'm gonna, like, I'll be the example. Like, I used to try and like focus in on like Tinsley had to have handmade Valentines and the handmade cookies. Well, guess what? That's not essential. It's not.
Right.
No.
That's right.
Like it's really cool, but baking cookies once a month with Tinsley is more important than making 552
That's right.
things. Like it's just not essential.
That's right.
And it doesn't make me a bad or a worse
No.
mom.
No.
It means that I get to read to Tinsley every night because that is what I consider as essential.
Well, and my mom always says, and my mother grew up in a time where, like, baking and cooking, you were a stay-at-home housewife. My mother's an excellent baker and an excellent cook, but she was always of the mindset as I got older of, that's why the bakers are employed. That's why the card company is employed to provide things like that, So I was always like, nope, I'm going to be super mom and I'm going to do it all. And, and she's right. That's the reason those people are employed is to help
Right.
with your time. You just go and get a dozen of whatever. And then for a special occasion or special time, you're like, hey, let's bake cookies today. No, we're not making them to try to get them to the school. We're just doing it for us. It's
Yeah.
bonding time for us or whatever. But
I think you just have to do that in life. Like we'll come up with these like great ideas at Lynn's Fit to do, and I'm like, is this essential? Like, is this essential to do? Or even like at the middle school, I've become like, I used to want to do all these crazy things, and I'll be like, is this essential?
right.
Like, yes, it's fun, and yes, it's
Yeah.
Is this essential
it
to our
essential?
success? Is it going to hinder us? Is it going to cause more chaos and havoc? Like,
Then it really needs
Right.
to be. Yep.
Yep.
Right.
I think sometimes you just have to have those things to to really recenter yourself and be like,
Right.
nope, am I aligned to my goals and my priorities? And then revisiting those things constantly. Like I actually got to see the lady speak about it, and she, you know, she brought up people to talk about, like, you know, what is one thing you think? And you know what number one thing people said was, I should probably cut social media out of my life.
True.
Or I should probably put a timer on my phone if
Right.
that's what it takes.
Right.
Like for me, I go all day without looking at my phone. And then it's usually about 15 minutes before bed. I'll like scroll through things and then I go to bed. But sleep is also something that is essential
Yes.
for me. And so when I don't get enough of that, I have to recheck myself
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah, because you get cranky and you're just burning the candle at both ends. I've been following this podcast with Dr. Daniel Amen and his wife, Tana Amen. Have you heard of that? Yes. So just here in the last week or so, I'm like mind blown. It's really, you know, I mean, it's a thing you think of anyway, of the stuff you're not supposed to have, the stuff that's bad for your brain. And you're like, that's okay. I'm just going to handle it anyway. I'm just going to have a Starbucks or whatever because I forgot to eat breakfast. And then you're listening to somebody else and you're like, oh my God, they're describing my
What
life
I'm going
exactly.
through.
I've got to get my shit together.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool when people are super open-minded and we think about us and reflect. Like, I think that's where personal growth happens. I'm like by far listing all these things that I do perfectly right now, and I don't. Like, I'm constantly balancing and like checking myself. My biggest one I'm working on right now is that positive mindset of,
That's
Yep,
hard.
that's what we
like,
are too.
for
Like,
me,
every
it's
day.
huge. Like, when I get done with a workout, not flopping myself on the floor and being like, oh my gosh, that was terrible.
I should have done better. Yeah.
Yeah, or like that discouraging self-talk, or me, you know, saying like, oh my gosh, I have a lot on my plate this week. Like, thank God I have a job and a lot of things to work on.
That's
and like,
right.
I think it's all about perspective. And it's so funny. Travis and I got in an elevator in Boston, and some lady, like, the first thing she said, I can't even remember, it was something super negative. Like, it was something like, oh my gosh, it's so hot outside. And I was like, why do we all gripe about the weather?
Yeah.
Like,
Who cares?
we can't control it.
That's right. That's right.
We can't help it.
That's right.
Like, at least we wake up, like, at least if we, I think it's just like human nature to gripe about things or something. I don't know.
Probably,
But it doesn't help any of our mindsets.
No. It just makes it negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been really trying to focus on that. Because if you can imagine, I put out a few fires throughout the day.
I imagine you do.
Yeah.
I imagine
And so if we
you
can
do.
all just kind of laugh a little bit more and
Yeah.
yeah, kind of self-check, it's
Very good. Well, I think we're probably getting to the end of our time today, but this is easily something we could have done like a 2 or 3 part series of.
Oh my gosh,
with you
you could come
because
in
we,
anytime.
Yeah, we were talking about rehab, and it just ends up with everything else that just covers
Well, and it just
so
all
much of what
ties
we're thinking.
together,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
it's cool. Like, change, like, a lot of aspects of my life are about planning, changing goals, priorities.
That vision board.
Yep. Like, I just think it's good for people to kind of know what they want and where they're going, and
Right.
have a plan and a vision, and who can I bring along the way, and what supports do I need, and
right,
you can accomplish pretty much anything.
right. What do you see for long-term success for the school? It's kind of a loaded question.
That's a
but-
great question. I honestly, and this is not me like trying to sugarcoat anything, man, I feel like the school district's in such a good place right now. I have a superintendent that, I'm not gonna lie, like, I was worried. We were in a very bad climate 4 years ago. Not because I feel like every person I've ever worked for in Craig in the school district has grown me. If people ever come to me and say our school districts don't have top-notch things, I will go toe to toe with them and just beg to differ.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have said that 10 years ago. I fully disagree. I think we have top-notch things,
Yes.
and I think we're continually striving to get better. So I was worried. I worked well under Brent Curtis, and a new superintendent coming in is scary.
Sure.
And a school board, a new school board, like, that's really, really scary.
Right.
And gosh, we're thriving. We have an excellent school board, and they're all staying on. Like, that's huge.
That is.
It's
That is.
huge. for leadership. It's huge for people wanting to stay.
Right.
I think that we've been able to give teachers raises for 3 years. That's huge.
The thing I've noticed about Dave Ulrich, which is the superintendent, I sat on the United Way board with him before I retired off the board, but he was always great about saying, that is an excellent idea. How can we make that happen? And it wasn't about the money we needed to make it happen. It's how can we get it to happen? What do we need to do? If that's money, great. If it's time, great. Let's figure it out. He
Let's get
is
in there.
just
Let's roll up our sleeves.
he's a little cheerleader for let's figure out how to get this done and make it work.
He's really great, and he's definitely a different leader. And I hadn't reflected a lot on this until lately. My mother-in-law is on the school board,
Sure.
which does kind of it's different now, but whatever. And she was saying, like, Sarah, I've never asked you, like, how do you do under Dave? And I was like, well, I'm Dave's favorite, but
Right.
I do so well under him, and he's very much a black and white, like, you're gonna do this and we're gonna make this happen, or he doesn't touch you or messes with you. Like, if you're doing good things for kids, like, he doesn't come and interfere, and I appreciate that from a leader. And if I go to him, something is always happens like that. He doesn't want us as leaders of the building taking on everything and every role.
Right.
I feel like he does a good job of balancing his priorities, which makes me balance my priorities.
Right.
So I think we're in a great thing, and I couldn't have said that. I will never forget this moment. I was an instructional coach. I think it was my first year out of the classroom. I was side consulting with Google technology. They would fly me out to school districts that wanted to do these crazy, like, not crazy, very innovative things within their district. It was districts that were wanting to do one-to-one iPads, robotics, technology, Lego leagues. So 5 years ago, very innovative things.
Right.
I remember going to a school in California, beautiful school. Kids were coding little robots in kindergarten, like it was reading, writing, and math.
Wow.
Every kid had an iPad. I was just like, I cried on the plane ride home. I was like, Tinsley will never have these things.
Right.
And guess what? She does.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, like, every 5th through 12th grader has an iPad. Every kid has abundance of technology. And I'm not saying technology is the end all. I do not believe in kids being on screen time a ton. But I do believe that technology gives us an outlet for kids that won't experience things and resources and environments and podcasts and that things that they can't without it. It opens doors. I never look at technology as the tool or the curriculum or whatever. It is a tool to accomplish good teaching. Like, that's how I look at those as it. She has all those things. Project Lead the Way, Dave Ulrich brought that in. It's design thinking, it's problem thinking. We have Lego robotics. Like, our kids have so many opportunities. And then they have opportunities within an environment of teachers and paraprofessionals and secretaries and this whole amazing system that care. Like, if Tinsley was in a big district, she would be a number. She would be one of 1,000 kids. I'll tell you right now, I look at every kid's test score at Craig Middle School. I hand place them in classes. I pick them to be with teachers that based off of their personalities. Like, to me, that is something Moffat County can do for your children that a lot of places can't.
That's right.
Like, we have great opportunities, sports, clubs, activities, but we also have those relationships with our kids. Like, our superintendent knows our kids.
Right.
Our superintendent knows our teachers. Like, that doesn't happen in big school districts.
Right.
And so I actually think we're in a really great place. I think our test scores are probably not a huge factor for me. I think that kids that do well in thriving homes will do well in life. Like, that's just a good philosophy, I think. But our test scores are going up. Like, good things are happening in the school district. So if I was somebody moving to Craig, Colorado, I'd be thinking, man, this place is doing some really cool things. I'd walk anybody in blind sight tomorrow. I'd walk you in tomorrow, right now, an hour from now, into any teacher's classroom at Craig Middle School, and your socks would be blown off at the things that our kids are doing.
That's
pretty cool.
awesome. That is very cool. Good. What's the one thing in closing we always ask our guests this? What's the one thing you do every day that sets your day for success?
Oh my gosh. I feel like everything I like is
Pick your favorite thing. Pick
Just
your
like
favorite.
when you wake up in the morning, what is the one thing?
You're always going to do to make sure your day is successful.
Eat breakfast.
Breakfast is a big one. What I think, man, I'm actually going to go kind of rogue on this one. Man, I wake up to my kids every morning. Like, that's a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And I leave early. And sometimes Tinsley's at Craig Middle School at 6:30 a.m. with me. Like, my kids start my day. We have a very good routine, and we talk, and we're happy, and we laugh, and we go. But seeing my kids' faces every morning, it just starts me off. Like, it centers me. Like, they're my world. I could cry thinking about that.
I know,
You're making me
I would
cry.
too,
That's
Like,
that's
Tinsley
awesome.
and Briggs, and I love when Jay's around. Like, they're my world, and everything I do, like working out and healthy habits and being a working mom and creating a better school district and a good home to live in, like, I do it for those guys.
Yeah.
Like, because they deserve my best. And so that's what we do. And it's kind of like, if you ask me, how do I end my day? We end it with a little, "You Are My Sunshine" on the little dot, Echo Dot, because I don't sing very well, but we play it every night, or Twinkle Star, and the kids go to bed, and life is good.
That's great.
Awesome.
That's
Well,
great.
thank you for coming today.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah.
Thanks,
we
guys.
appreciate it. Cool.
Awesome.
We'd like to give a big shout out to E&L Signs for being our sponsor of this podcast. E&L Signs serves Western Colorado and Eastern Utah for all your screen printing and vehicle lettering needs. With over 30 years experience, Ed and Lori will get it done for you. So remember, E&L Signs. If you like what you hear, please take time to review us on Apple Podcasts and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Also, if you'd like to be on the podcast, let us know, or if you have someone you would like us to feature, let us know that as well.